Welcome back to the Order Podcast, where we spotlight some of the coolest people and projects in the ecosystem. And today we're joined by Dom, Head of Growth at LayerZero. How are you doing, man?
Great. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to chatting more today.
Before we talk about LayerZero itself, let's zoom out. From your perspective, what is the biggest problem users and traders faces today in the multi-chain DeFi world?
For sure. Yeah. Well, once again, I appreciate you having me on today. Looking forward to talking about all things orderly, what we've been up to with each other's ecosystems and how we continue to do more in the future. But in terms of, looking at the landscape today, it's become clear that there is hundreds and thousands of chains, and that looks like it's not going to be slowing down. And so when it comes to traders and users on chain, I think everyone wants a unified experience, and not having to think about bridging and signing and approvals and the hoops that we all need to jump through is something that I think people are starting to realize has become more of an issue. And I think that there's now plenty of solutions in market today. And I think that between LayerZero and Orderly, we've figured out one that's been heavily adopted.
So where does LayerZero fit into that problem for someone who understands DeFi but maybe hasn't gone so deep into cross-chain infrastructure? How do you explain that and what LayerZero actually is?
I think when you look at the industry today, we obviously want to improve the user experience for anyone to be able to come on chain and leverage the technology that's built today. And so for LayerZero, for those that don't know, LayerZero is the leading messaging protocol that enables blockchain to blockchain communication. So whether you want to send data, value, or state from one network to another, you can do so through LayerZero in a permissionless, immutable, and censorship-resistant manner. Now, when we look at where users are going on chain today, what they're doing, where does LayerZero fit into this? And we are the underlying infrastructure that allows for this composability between different ecosystems. And so having one unified manner where any existing people on chain or new people on chain can be able to execute transactions across different networks without even knowing it is something that we've been able to power a lot of these ecosystems, whether it's through token transfers or data. And so between LayerZero and Orderly, we've brought this solution to market for anyone to be able to deposit and interact within a unified interface.
Interesting. And I just want to get that concept even more clear for someone that's maybe coming from, let's say, spot, or someone that's they just got into crypto or they just got into the blockchain technology. How do you explain the back end of LayerZero? How do you explain that whole tech stack or whatever you would call it? How does point A to point B, what happens in the middle?
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun explaining LayerZero. It's naturally a little bit more of a technical, complex idea, but when you break it down to its simplest form, is that there's plenty of different environments that you could be interacting on chain. And when explaining to someone that has no idea what's going on in crypto, telling them that there's 12 different chains, 100 different chains, that just does not make sense, right? Like, how do you actually emulate that? And so there's a couple different examples that we use. Historically, you could think of each individual blockchain as a country or a city. And without the means of infrastructure like the highways and forms of transportation, how do you go between city? Whether it's going to be a user, data, or information or value, how can you actually move this from one city or one network to another? And so where LayerZero provides the solution in market is in terms of that infrastructure, that bridge, that highway for all to be moved between ecosystems without even knowing it. And so for someone that comes on chain, I think the goal has always been for them to actually not know what the underlying infrastructure is. Most people don't know that they're using GCP or AWS at the underlying. And I think that for what we want to do as an industry is see that LayerZero is able to power this infrastructure. And regardless of the application, regardless of where this information resides, any user can come on chain and be able to access it as easily as possible.
How does LayerZero actually change things for users and traders within the Orderly ecosystem?
It's been incredible to work with the team at Orderly. What they built is been very impactful for not only the users, but also for the LayerZero protocol as a whole. We've seen, I think they're like the top 15 in message volume to date. We've done a variety of different integrations across, Orderly's L2 as a custom built L2 chain, which acts as a settlement hub. We allow for connectivity between that L2 and 155 different networks today. So whether it's an EVM or non-EVM, composability between Orderly's chain and the full LayerZero mesh network has been unlocked. Not to mention the order token is an OFT, which for those that don't know, OFT is an Omni-chain Fungible Token standard, which think simply put is an extension of an ERC20 or SPL token to allow for native interoperability between different networks. So anyone that holds the token order has the ability to move it to any single network that they choose to, whether there's a DeFi opportunity, whether there's a trading opportunity, you name it, you have that that composability between different networks, which we find very, very valuable. I guess another thing actually worth mentioning is also, in the idea of abstracting away the complexity for users to be able to deposit, to be able to, interact within these trading environments, the ability to deposit collateral from any of the 100+ chains directly into the Orderly ecosystem is a massive unlock that we see as very, very valuable, that improves that user experience, and Orderly's done a very good job in terms of that. So we like to think that, with LayerZero, Orderly turns many chains into one simple trading surface.
Interesting. I'm just trying to wrap my head around, like, you just mentioned this, like 150 chains, like all into one. Yeah, that's just crazy, bro. Like, how does that like compress? Like, what does it take? Like computing power, like what goes behind it? If there's so many moving parts, like how do you keep structure with everything?
Yeah, so I mean, as I kind of mentioned, when you think of LayerZero, the protocol, we deploy these things called endpoints. These endpoints are an immutable set of smart contracts that go live on each individual network. And once that has been deployed, that will be wired to the full LayerZero mesh network to have complete connectivity across every single chain. So whether you're going to have, Orderly gets live as an L2 and you want to have composability between moving assets from there and Solana, you have direct point-to-point communication. There's no single, middle chain or intermediary that needs to be routing these messages through. And you can think of a message as any sort of packet of data, whether it's going to be an instruction to do XYZ on chain, or to deposit here, or to, allow for updating token balances on a different network. But the idea being is that, LayerZero is the rails that power composability across all of crypto. And though you may not see it, the idea is that it is invisible by design, that we are just enabling users and builders to have the ability to move and build across every single chain at once.
Interesting. And like moving between those things, how does the fees work? Like in terms of, let's say you're transferring $1 million, like let's say I transfer $1 million from one chain to a different chain. Like, what is the fee structure on your side, and how do you guarantee like a perfect match, or if that question makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, I did a fun demo not too long ago. If you haven't happened to see it, I'll make sure to send it after. But we wanted to showcase the power of OFT. And like I said, OFT is the Omni-chain Fungible Token standard, the ability to move any single token, whether it's an ERC20 or SPL token, natively one-to-one, zero slippage for the cost of gas. And so how that actually works is you're going to be burning the token on the source chain, sending a LayerZero message to mint the exact same amount on the destination. Completely unified supply, completely unified liquidity. And I did an example not too long ago with PayPal, and we sent $1 million transfer from Arbitrum to ETH mainnet, I believe, and that costed 28 cents. So it's pretty incredible to see what the power of OFT does. And for tokens like Order and any other assets that are built on, blockchain infrastructure, this is one of the unlocks, and it's pretty incredible to see in market today.
Orly was built to be omni-chain from day one, with unified liquidity and cross-chain trading. From your side, why does LayerZero make sense to be the backbone of something like Orderly?
I think Orderly's done an incredible job at bringing the LayerZero vision technology to light and to market. And so with Orderly's tag being trade anything, anywhere, I believe LayerZero fits in just perfectly with that, and the idea that you can deploy anywhere and be connected everywhere. And so for Orderly as an ecosystem and as a project, the ability to create a very unified and composable experience for their traders is obviously massive, and we're excited to continue to power that. So, with the ability for you guys to have connectivity across 150 chains where users can deposit collateral and be able to interact within the exchange very simplistically is massive. And I think that just shows in the UX at the end line. So I think Orderly thinks, globally by design, and LayerZero makes that very practical.
From a growth perspective, what's been the biggest unlock you've seen with projects going from multi-chain to truly omni-chain?
We've seen over the past couple of years that it is inevitable that we will continue to see more chains pop up. And for an application to be multi-chain, you have the same app, but there's going to be some liquidity problems. There's going to be the cold start issue when it comes to moving from different networks or bootstrapping liquidity into one place. But with the idea of omni-chain and going live day one across multiple networks, you have that one liquidity layer, that actual settlement surface that's aligned across every single ecosystem. And then moving forward into the future, every single chain that comes up only makes that ecosystem stronger. And the ability to deploy, your contracts to new networks once LayerZero is live there is massive to be ahead of the curve, right? And so if you guys want to have the ability to capture users or volumes from net new networks, the simplicity of expanding there is very, very helpful for a developer experience.
Fast forward a year or two, how do you see omni-chain tech in Orly products impacting users even more than it's doing now?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Orly's ecosystem thrive and grow over the past couple of years exponentially, and I don't think that that's plans to slow down. In terms of what I think for, at least for traders in the future, I mean, the idea of being able to deposit from anywhere and trading immediately is massive. There's not this there's no wrong chain issue. And the idea is like you can have a chain agnostic strategy going into expansion and the ability to meet the users where they are, as well as be able to pull capital from different ecosystems more effectively. As for builders, I mean, Orly 1 has been a great success, and being able to spin up a perp DEX in minutes that is powered by LayerZero and has that connectivity from day one. No need to build a chain, no need to source liquidity or design this whole messaging infrastructure at the underlying is huge. And I think Aiden was one of the OAP perp DEXs that was launched. It's done billions in volume, I believe, and recently it got acquired maybe or something like that, but we need to look into that more frequently. But yeah, I think the idea is that it creates an ecosystem, a flywheel where thousands of OAP or omni-chain applications are built on top of Orly. We've seen Radium, we've seen Woo, we've seen perp tools and others using this liquidity in the LayerZero rails. And so for you guys as an ecosystem to be able to future-proof and be able to continue to expand and grow with how users interact on chain is going to be incredible. And for us to be able to support you guys in terms of continuously offering connectivity across the entire industry is something we're excited about.
Just more on the personal side, you sound like you absolutely love the blockchain technology. What is your background? How did you get into it? What's your story, man?
Yeah, I mean, I always love hearing how people enter the space. It's never the same story. And for myself, I mean, I interacted with Bitcoin in 2017 very, very briefly, didn't follow up too much on it. Studied finance, traded on the side, mainly on the equities, before getting the opportunity to come on as an analyst at a venture fund based in the UK. Did a bunch of research and strategy for this venture studio focusing on digital assets. And then after about 2 years, I met the team at LayerZero, found out, the story, understood what they were building, and was immediately impressed and excited. And honestly, I think that the team here has been nothing but a treat to work with. Our leadership has proven to, have an incredible background and just very, very intelligent people that I've been able to learn from. And I believe that, there's a lot of exciting things coming up in the future here, and we're in a good spot.
That's amazing, bro. And also, I want to get your opinion on how do you see the future of blockchain technology? How do you see the future of on-chain finance, especially with all these different AI tools, all these tools like LayerZero, Orly 1. I mean, you can launch your own perp DEX, you can launch your own meme coin, any coin, utility token, whatever. How do you see the future of it? How do you see projects growing? Obviously, if you look back a few years ago in terms of growth for specific coins and specific tokens, growth was exponential, right? In terms of P&L, how do you see that reshaping, or what do you see would be the difference in a few years time versus if you look 3 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's general alignment across the space that we are in a different era of crypto. It's beautiful in the sense that we are actually seeing all these things come to life, and whether it's going to be tokenized securities, RWAs, prediction markets, these are all interesting new narratives that are coming and seeing the light. And so for us to be able to actually position ourselves where the whole world can actually come on chain, and I think that that's the inevitable. And so I'm generally excited on all things that are in the motion. It's interesting to see how the institutional demand for building networks, building solutions for their customers. You see the Robinhoods, you see the Revoluts, you see Stripes, these major institutions, PayPal, all these fintechs are coming on chain because they see that the value is in the technology. And for us at the end user level to be able to appreciate and also experience what this technology has unlocked for us is obviously very exciting. But yeah, in terms of narratives, I mean, I think the ability to trade any asset, whether it's going to be a meme coin, a tokenized security, or gold on chain 24/7 is pretty incredible. And so, you know, I'm excited to be here and look forward to the future.
So I saw on LayerZero, there's something coming on Feb 10th. Can you give any insights on what's happening, bro?
Can't say anything about that besides I'm excited for Feb 10.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. That was Dom from LayerZero. All the best, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. Cheers.